why is it so important that we expose this?
Well, from one perspective, if they can lie about where we live, yeah, they can lie about anything. And when you actually look into it, they have lied about absolutely everything. Everything in your world, every aspect of your life, there's a huge lie behind it. Yeah, money is a lie. Yeah, the medical system is a lie. The legal system is a lie. Yeah? It's all lies. And once you figure out that the earth is not what they tell you it is, then you're now open to be able to actually search and see the lies behind everything else.
It changes your purpose in life. It really does. It changes everything you've ever thought about your reality and how others like this are able to see the veil is being lifted. All flat earthers are Toto, right, from The Wizard of Oz. And all we're really doing is trying to just challenge the narrative that's being prescribed by the governments of the earth. And it gives you a whole new perspective on life. And really what I feel like they're doing is they're hiding creation, because then that can hide God.
Lies need to be exposed. Truths need to be told. People need to hear about this. Flat Earth truths for everyone. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter your religion, your race, your sexual orientation. We need to know the truth about our world we live on, Mother Earth, what we stand on. We're born into a lie with a globe in every classroom. It's just about time to kick that globe to the curb.
It's the basis of everything that we go through. It's the stage that we live on. And, in the community we have this saying that the whole world's a stage, and we're talking about the deceptions from like the fiat currency system, the government, the military-industrial complex, big pharma. You name it, the banking system, the Federal Reserve and all that stuff. We can look at all this stuff and the fake news, how everything just seems to be artificial. So we say the whole world's a stage just based on what we see from the media and all that. But the fact of the matter is, they lied to us about the stage, about the very stage on which this whole thing plays out. So that's why it's important to talk about this and to expose it, because this is a really easy thing to prove. We just went over that whole no curvature thing. You can show people multiple tests where there was supposed to be curvature, observed over long distances, seeing things that we shouldn't have seen over the distance. We've seen laser tests and all that. I'll be hitting on that later today. There's no curvature, so we can easily prove that the earth is flat to people, and that's, in my opinion, one of the easiest things to get people to understand. And once they understand that we've been deceived about that, the next question that I want people to ask is, what else did they lie to us about? And the obvious answer is everything. I use flat earth as a way to open the door to people who are completely unaware to anything. None of it. Like, they don't know anything. Chemtrail, 9/11, they don't know any of this stuff. So you show them flat earth and they're like, I need to question an official story about like everything. So the light bulb goes on and they start to look at everything with a skeptical eye. So that's what sparks them off. So flat earth is where it's at.
Well, so like I said, we all have the same evidence. We come at it from different worldviews. I come at it from a biblical worldview, okay? When I read in Romans where it talks about how you can get to know the invisible attributes of God, including his eternal power through his creation, okay? Of course, there's going to be an evil cover-up to destroy what that creation actually is. They're going to dilute it. And the way you dilute something is you pour it into something bigger, like infinite space, and convince people that there's insignificant, merely probabilities of an ever-expanding, potentially infinite universe. So I truly believe that the goal is to hide God, pull God out of every creation account, and to ruin the relationship that someone can have by just existing here, by looking around and seeing like, yeah, there's a creator, this thing was made, and if we live on a flat earth, there's no denying a creator, okay? The stumbling block for a lot of people, including myself in my 20s, was that we live in an infinite universe where the probability of us existing and coming to the point where we can contemplate it is eventual, right, and likely. And so I think that narrative is one that has been purposely created. NASA's a part of it. All these things propagating this lie that we're not powerful, that we need the elite, right? That we need the system when we really don't.
Because I think the truth is important, and to reach our potential as a species, if you want to say that, humanity, we need to find out what is going on, how the world works. Not so much how the world works, but letting people know that there is something that needs to be figured out here. And I think that's what is the biggest thing, is that people walk around these days not knowing that they're slaves to the system, not knowing that all of this stuff is out there. And so it's important just to, I think, point them in the right direction, try to, and say, you got to check some of this stuff out so that you can free your mind and not be a slave to this anymore. Yeah, we all got these systems we're all going to have to be a part of at certain levels, but you can free your mind from all that, and you're going to look at the world through a totally different lens, and it's very freeing, you know. And I want everybody to experience what I've experienced.
Of course, well, they're hiding a creator, but also they're lying to all the kids about the true nature of our universe. So what I believe is that Flat Earth releases the superstar in all of us. We all have talents and gifts, and they kind of hide it by telling you you're a shape-shifting monkey on a spinning pear and just go to work Monday through Friday, pay your bills. So I just believe it's one of the most important things you can expose people to, and it's so obvious too that they're lying about the shape of the earth that anyone can figure it out.
Because I believe, you know, if you ask a scientist guy about, for example, you know, you are a believer, that guy gonna tell you no, and you ask, so all the religious institutions, they are liars. Because you don't believe, but you must be accept that those religious institutions teach to the people, you know, based on character that they never show, and they create stamps or miniature statues, like NASA create satellite or CGI images, is like the Virgin images, the same kind of thing. But that guy who comes to the ground of science, they must be agreed that all those guys lie to the world. And we are not talking about 1,000 employers or 300,000 employers. We are talking about the complete religious institution. So if you ask that guy, why the Vatican lies? The immediately response is for controlling people, monetary and spiritual. So who present the globe model? The same guy that present Jesus or present that kind of religion. So it's the new Rome. The spherical earth is the new religions that is presented by the same guy. If you research Kepler, Newton, Galileo, and look how they dress like a priest. And the new priests are this kind of science. They you know, they take the control of the people with false prophets and now with the false science.
I mean, how can you sum that up in a minute, 2 minutes? Why is it important? Because you got to know where you live, man. You got to know who you are. I went from atheist to creationist because of Flat Earth. And I behave differently as a person. In fact, I've got a song about how I now behave differently, how I treat people, you know, because I know there is a creator now. So, and I think that's important to have that kind of knowledge and that enlightenment, because it makes you a better person, understanding that this is a flat realm, it is created, and there is a creator. I don't want to get too much down the religious road or the biblical aspect of it, but knowing there's a creator, I treat people with much more respect now, you know, because I believe that there is a judgment, you know. And if you have that mindset that there is a creator, it makes you a better person. So that's why it's important.
Because not knowing where you are, who you are, what you are, and giving your power away keeps you a slave forever. It keeps our kids a slave. If you know, they're hiding who we are and free energy. If you knew who you were and you had access to free energy, none of us would be in this predicament.